Hey, it's James Pratt here with Ride Oklahoma. I'm going to talk to you today about an adventure dual sport ride I took and that you may want to take yourself from Guthrie, Oklahoma. It's a day loop, or actually a 2 day overnight loop. I took from Guthrie, Oklahoma up to Pawhuska and then back down to Guthrie. Nice, it's probably 80% gravel road, nothing too hard to take. You could easily take it with any adventure bike, even a big GS or something. There is some gravel, a little bit of dirt, but it's really fun. You're going to go through some historical places. You're going to go through some interesting territory. You'll go through some of the a little bit south of the Tallgrass Prairie Preserve. You could add a day to it if you wanted to and loop through the Tallgrass Prairie Preserve north of Pawhuska. That's a well worth a trip, and I've done that both with my bike and my Jeep, but it's not on this trip. I camped overnight, and there's a park near downtown Pawhuska that's easy to get to. You can park there and walk into town for dinner. And there's also some other camping areas in the where, but that's where I camped at. So I'm going to walk you through this trip and see if that's something you might want to enjoy. I started in the historic town of Guthrie, Oklahoma, not far from my house. I figured that was a good place. If you go to Guthrie, be sure to, if you haven't been there, spend some time walking around downtown. It's very famous. A lot of movies have been filmed there. And really cool place with some nice places to eat. I started my trip going east out of there. If you get a chance, you may want to go up here, which I didn't do. I've been many times, but go up here to Elmer McCurdy's grave. That's really interesting, a cool place. And so on my map, you'll have it there. But I've been there many times, so I didn't go there this time. But that's a fun one. And then I took this route here, just trying to find some dirt roads. Anytime you do adventure riding, dual sport riding, you always got to deal with major rivers. And so usually there's only so many bridges across those major rivers because they're expensive to build. And so in Oklahoma we have the Red River, of course, down south, but like the Arkansas River in this case, and the Cimarron River, two bridges. I had to route my travels to make sure I could get across those bridges. And luckily what I found over with my exploring, there's a bridge over the Cimarron that's on a dirt road. That's a major bridge. The bridge is probably a half-mile long, and you get to take it, go off a dirt road. The bridge itself is paved, but it's pretty cool to see this go down a dirt road. Here's this bridge across a major river, and then you can get across. Otherwise, you have to go up here to I-35 and get across the river, but there's this dirt road right here. It goes to this little town called Pleasant Valley that years ago, the cattle drives used to stop here when they were driving cattle up to Kansas from Texas. They'd stop in this valley right down here and graze their cattle before they crossed the river. They may wait for the river to go down before they could cross. But today it's just a river crossing. It's pretty cool. And then I took gravel dirt roads on up to Stillwater, and I had to get around Lake Carl Blackwell. It's kind of cool. And of course I had paved roads on part of that. But then over here, I wanted to take some more dirt roads going east again. Took these up to Morrison, I believe it is. I can't remember what I did there. And then I took paved. I was getting kind of late in the day, so I took a paved road on up here to Pawnee. If you've never been to the Pawnee, Oklahoma, it's home to the Pawnee Bill Ranch. That's a good place to stop at to visit. There's also some good restaurants there to stay in. But I would highly recommend you just at least drive through and see the Pawnee Bill Ranch and Museum, and even if you need to come back another day to take that. Now what I did is I have been through Pawnee many times, and instead of taking the highway, I want to go out here through the Pawnee Nation. This is their capital of the Pawnee Nation. It's pretty cool. There's some interesting things to see here. I saw some teepees and people doing celebrations. It was a weekend. That was kind of neat. And then I took dirt roads. I'd cross this smaller river here. I took some cool dirt roads out to some more Pawnee, and then I go to this small town of Skeety. I've been there many times. It's got a really cool statue right in the middle of it. There's hardly anything in Skeety, Oklahoma except a statue, but that is well worth the drive to go see it. Then of course you got to get across the Arkansas River, and I went across it up here by Ralston. And then I wanted to get back on some back roads, so I took these back roads and trails up. This actually goes, these are a little bit rougher here, or you could, this Gray Horse is a kind of cool town. It's a really small, it's more of a Indian not a trading post, an Indian sanctuary, you might say. It's got some history behind it. And I took these dirt roads and up on into Pawhuska, and that's where I camped out. I camped right there's the Pioneer Woman Mercantile, which is absolutely eat there. That is really, really good. You'll really enjoy that, and your significant other might even enjoy it. And then I went down by the swinging bridge to look at that. That's kind of a cool little site. I camped right in here in this area. It's just within walking distance to camp, and you just pay a little fee. I think it's $10 to camp there. So the next morning I got up and I wanted to drive around Pawhuska a little bit, see the cemetery, and then I wanted to head back south, but obviously I wanted to get off the paved roads. So I tried to find this road. It's the old Highway 99. I believe this is paved, but it's the old version of the Highway 99 you can take. Then I cut off down here to some county roads and down to Winona. It's got a kind of cool downtown down there. It's small. And some more dirt roads on into, I want to go into this Osage area. This is really nice little loop. This is very interesting. The Prairie Valley School Historic Site, you can find that. That's kind of cool. And down to Hominy. Down in Hominy, I wanted to go to the Drummond home. This is the original home of the Drummond with the Drummond Ranch. The gal, I guess she made famous the Pioneer Woman lady. So I think that was it. So that was kind of cool. Stop there. Then of course you got to get across the river again. It's the Arkansas River, so there's only limited places to cross the river. So I crossed over it here by Cleveland. Been across this many times. And from there, I wanted to go down. I took the back roads. I hadn't been on these before. And I wanted to go to Hallett, though, because I think Hallett's really cool. I went by the Hallett Motor Racing Circuit. I've raced there, ridden there many, many times. I really enjoy racing and riding in Hallett. I think my first ride was 1978 there. I had a motorcycle that I crashed. It's kind of cool. Anyway, yeah, so that's really fun. You can go by there if they're open. That's really cool just to swing in there and see what's going on. It's cars, motorcycles, whatever it might be. Then I took some roads I've never taken before down to this cool graffiti bridge near Quay, and then through onto the town of Quay. That's well worth the trip just to go to this cool graffiti bridge out in the middle of nowhere. Imagine yourself back in the 1980s hanging out with your buddies and your girlfriend at the Quay Bridge and writing up some graffiti, drinking some buds or whatever. Then took the back roads back and went to Ingalls, which is, a lot of people may know about Ingalls. That's a old town where they had a shootout many years ago back in I think it was late 1800s. And there's some markers there and some buildings that commemorate the thing. So Ingalls, that's a place you may want to go. Then on down, I took a road on down. I had to get across the Cimarron River this time, so this is kind of a back way, and I think this is part of the TAD, or I can't remember what it is. It's part of one of the routes I took that follows along the river. This is pretty cool. And then in through Ripley and across Highway 33. Took some back roads again to this Iowa tribe. I like that. That was cool. And then on back into Guthrie. Or I'm sorry, went to Langston, Coyle and Langston. I like that. That's two cool little towns. And then in Langston, this takes you across the bridge at Langston right here, across the dam. Across the dam at the Langston Lake. And then just some back roads on back into Guthrie. So that's my trip. You can follow it, and I hope you enjoyed the trip. You can download this map off the website. I'll also have some GPS coordinates you can download directly if you like, and make it your own trip. Enjoy. Hello, it's James Pratt with Ride Oklahoma. I'm all loaded up to go camping on my DRZ, Suzuki DRZ, 22-year-old motorcycle I've had since I bought it new in '02. And lots of fun. I've got it all geared up with my camping with some Black Dog equipment. And I've got a tent, sleeping bag, cot. I'm getting older, I don't like to sleep on the ground. So yeah, all rigged up, just probably one night. but a little bit of a test run this year with some new gear. So looking forward to it. I'm heading up north towards Kansas and Pawhuska and up through the Osage Hills up through there. So looking forward to it. Well, I made it this morning to Pawhuska. Drove mostly dirt roads. Most ways when you're traveling these dirt roads, I don't really have a route in mind. Most times I just like to look at my GPS, look at my phone, kind of figure out some dirt roads, figure out what goes through, and just take that route. I mean, it's not a route, I just kind of wind my way through. You do have to cross major rivers, so typically you have to go to like the Cimarron River. There is a dirt road that goes across the Cimarron, which I filmed, and then there's went up through the, I had to get across the Arkansas River. That's another biggie. So you usually have to kind of find a bridge that goes across the Arkansas. I can travel dirt roads a long ways, but then you have to get a major bridge typically to get across the Arkansas River. I did ride through the Tallgrass Prairie Preserve. I saw a few buffaloes, but they were behind some large fences, so I couldn't really go up there and scare them a little bit or pet them. I obviously don't want to pet buffalo, but yeah, it was a good time, and just started rode. You know, kind of like riding by myself a lot or with my wife. I really like riding with Kay, and we just take our time. Used to go a little faster. Nowadays I slow down 35, maybe 40 miles an hour. We just cruise down the dirt roads and just really enjoy myself and stop, take pictures, and I did a little video, and then we camped here. I camped here tonight. Pretty nice campsite, right almost downtown Pawhuska. You can walk into town from here. I'm gonna go walk in here in a minute and get some coffee. And this is just right down by a creek. There's a few little places to stay here, little cabins, some restrooms, and that's about it. And it's only like $10 a night for the campsite, so I like that. I had a good night's sleep last night with I got a new backpacker's cot, and usually I slept on an air mattress, always in my entire motorcycling time. Camping for 40 years, but this is the first time I slept on a cot, and that was very nice. I really enjoyed it. Usually I always thought the cots were too big, but this is a really tiny backpacker's cot. It just made all the difference in the world. It really slept pretty good last night in a tent. I tried the hammock sleeping. That didn't really work for me too well, but I like a tent better, but the cot just made a big difference. DRZ's running great. I've had it 22 years now. The bike just runs fantastic. No major issues, knock on wood. I got this custom designed rack. I built my own rack for the back, just for the bags I have. Got these Wolfman bags I really like, and strap one on the top. Bike works great that way. Got the Wolfman luggage in the front, and Garmin GPS. Everything just works just fantastic. I'm really happy with my setup. I've had 22 years to perfect my setup, and you can spend more money on a new bike. I thought about buying a new bike a few years ago, but you know, this has been paid for a really, really, really long time, and it's just a wonderful motorcycle. Had to do a little work maintenance, just the normal maintenance on it, but it does exactly what I want to do, and it goes to places I want to go, and doesn't cost me a fortune. Been just a really good bike. Time to start tearing down my tent, packing up my stuff. I'll kind of show you my pieces and parts when I get ready. First off, I got this North Face tent. I've had it for longer than I've had the motorcycle. I've had it 22 years. That's probably a good 30-year tent. I bought it when my son and I, well, maybe about the same time, we were going to California on our motorcycles, and we got this tent to pack on the motorcycle, so it works great on this motorcycle too. Kind of a small one-man tent, a little bit tight, but it works great. So start tent fly off of here. These stakes are painful on the feet at night when you wake up and you're barefoot and you're walking outside. These do hurt. I've been carrying with me my machete, which I thought would be pretty handy. I seen the guy had that one years ago, and it looks kind of cool when you have it on your bike. It's not as functional as I thought it'd be. And so I think I'm gonna switch it out for an axe, a small hand axe, because that's real handy driving in my stakes, cutting firewood. That's better than a machete for cutting firewood. And a lot of things you can do with it. And I carry a pistol anyway, so I don't need a machete. But yeah, I think that would be much more handy around camp. I got a little small, really small axe. I did bring my battery charger. That's pretty handy. I do have some charging on my bike, but this is just real handy to carry along and keep with my stuff. I can charge my drone. Charge the drone. I can also charge my phone, whatever else I might need at night while I'm in bed. Here's my chair. Really like this little chair. I used to not carry a chair when I was camping on my motorcycle because they just took up too much room. But these new, I don't know if they're new, but these fancy lightweight backpacking chairs are so nice. When you want to sit around in the evening, just sitting on the ground or something, got this little chair I can sit in. I'm getting older. That's just a nice little feature, and it don't take a ton of room. And I fit it on my motorcycle, and it's not a very big motorcycle, so yeah, it works out just fine. Wrap them up in the chair itself. Like with anything backpacking, the smaller it is, the more expensive it is. The smaller and lightweight, so you have to pay for the good stuff, I have learned, but it usually ends up being worth it. If you're really trying to go light, especially on a motorcycle or backpacking, really makes a big difference. They're pretty nice. I've been backpacking on my motorcycle for well over 40 years, probably 45 years. And I've got a pretty good system turned down. I've been on this bike 22 years. I've been on a lot of other bikes. I camped on the CB750 years ago, and a KZ750. So I kind of learned over the years to buy the good stuff. Lasts you a really long time, and it's worth it because you get your money out of it over time if you can afford it. All right. North Face sleeping bag. I've had this quite some time. Got several of them actually, but this is got a really cold weather one, a really light warm weather one, and this is kind of a medium weather bag. And what I did, I have a stuff sack for it, but instead I just stuff it into one of my panniers on my motorcycle over here. It's a soft pannier, and that works just fine. Got an inner tube, that's a rear tube, and I got a front tube in my other backpack. I'm gonna stuff my sleeping bag, and then throw the things I'm less likely. I always stuff in the deepest part. I stuff the things I don't use as often. So the bag I only use when I get to camp, and stuff it all the way in the bottom here. Stuffing is the appropriate word. And then this little baby, my latest acquisition, is this cot, which last night's the first time I used it. And I really like this cot so far. It's a Helinox, if you can see here. It's good for kiteboarding. Helinox cot. And yeah, it's made a world of difference for me last night. I've slept on the ground and on air mattresses for years and years, decades really. And I've recently in my trailer I carry a cot, but it's quite a bit bigger and heavier. And then a buddy was selling this, and I bought it because I'm tired of sleeping on the ground. And I had my other cot, I'd put an air mattress over the top of the cot, but last night I didn't even do that, and I slept great. So this is my new. I'll be taking this with me everywhere now. And my North Face tent, I've had, like I said before, I've had it for decades, and it works great. I've had it, and slept in the rain, carried on my motorcycles. First off, the rain fly off. I do treat it probably every 10 years. I'll put some Scotch Guard or something to treat it a little bit. Keep it where it's waterproof. And it just goes right in here with the tent poles. So I'll put tent poles in first and then put that in. This is not my favorite tent because it's really small. But it works great when I'm on the motorcycle. If I'm out in my car, I have a bigger tent. Or in my Jeep, I have a little bigger tent I take. Give me a little more room. This one, you can barely turn over in, especially with the cot. But it works. And I tried the hammock thing. And I did not care for that one little bit, especially when it was cold. And I couldn't turn over in it, and getting out of it in the middle of the night was difficult. And so, yeah, I like tents. Luckily, I bought the hammock from REI, and they refunded my money. Took it on one trip, used it, didn't like it, and they refunded my money. That was real nice. So, shake all the dirt out. I like to shake the dirt out of the inside too, whatever stuff I got on the inside, because that can mildew in there too. So find the opening, shake it out, take everything out you can, and then the old reliable stuff it. I don't fold it, because if you fold it, you can get creases the same place over and over. You know, wear your stuff out, so they recommend just stuffing it. That way everything's random. I have learned I want a tent, you know, that's for my motorcycle riding. I try to get one that has a, of course you want to wear rain cover to get out of the rain, but also want a mesh so I can pull the rain cover off, because a lot of nights it's pretty warm. You want a breeze to go through your tent. And last night I had to open it up, a little breeze through, and it wasn't even all high. It was like 65 down to about 60. But when it's warmer, you want to be sure to have a breeze flowing through your tent. So you want to mesh and then a rain fly on top of it to keep the rain out. And it's not a, you know, typically you're not going to be camping in your motorcycle in the winter, but you don't need a really cold weather tent. And I got a few more things to put away, but that's pretty well it for now. Put on my riding gear, get the rest of it packed away, and I'm heading out of here.